Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, come see how we rock this. Alabama fans the best, there's no way you can top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
Welcome into the process, Crimson Tide Recruiting. We have a new week of the show. We are so excited to bring it to you guys on Touchdown Alabama on YouTube. I am your host, Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead, do that really quickly for me. Hit that subscribe button below. Also, be sure to leave a like whether you are subscribed or not. The moment that many college football fans have been waiting on is finally here. The recruiting dead period is over, which means that college football prospects can now visit college campuses, can now have in-person contact with college coaches. This is something that they have not been able to do for more than a year, so college coaches are excited. Alabama football coaches are excited. Prospects are overwhelmed, and Alabama football got things kicking off on today, on the first day, basically the kickoff of the end of the recruiting dead period. Alabama kicked off things with a bang, and I'm going to talk about a couple of the guys who Alabama had on campus today. But I first want to discuss how things will look in Tuscaloosa on tomorrow, as Nick Saban will host the first Nick Saban football camp of the summer in Tuscaloosa on Wednesday, and a couple of prospects from all across the nation will be on the campus of the University of Alabama, including a 2023 5-star defensive end out of Washington and Jaden Wayne. He will actually camp at the University of Alabama tomorrow, along with a 4-star defensive end out of Gardendale High School and Kelby Collins, who is seeing his recruitment really blow up at the moment. Got an offer from Clemson University today. Alabama offered him earlier in the year, a couple of weeks ago, and he pretty much had this camp date visit locked in, so Alabama will get an opportunity to see him camp. I actually got an opportunity to see him camp a couple of times over the last couple of months. One time was at the Dex Preps Elite Camp in Lincoln, Alabama, and another time was at the Under Armour Camp in Atlanta. And I think Alabama's coaching staff will be really impressed by this in-state defensive end with this strength and with this quickness. But a long list of prospects, like I said, from all over the country, including multiple guys from Washington to go along with Wayne. So Alabama's coaching staff will have their hands filled on today in terms of seeing these guys in camp action and actually get an opportunity to see them in a live camp setting. But this will not be the first opportunity that Alabama actually gets to see guys participate and basically perform in front of them. They actually had some guys on campus today who went through a little bit of a camp setting, went through a little bit of a workout. One of those guys is 4-star tight end Oscar Depp out of Georgia. He visited the University of Alabama for an unofficial visit on today, and he personally told me actually a couple of minutes ago that he wants to get back to Tuscaloosa. He felt that it was a great visit. He did get an opportunity to work out in front of Alabama's coaching staff, had an opportunity to catch up with Nick Saban. Alabama's wide receiver coach Harmon Wiggins has been able to build a great relationship with the 4-star tight end. So I think this was a great visit for Alabama. Of course, this was Oscar Depp's first visit to the University of Alabama as a prospect. So things look to have went really well for the elite tight end in the 2022 recruiting class. When you look at Depp, he is a receiving tight end. Alabama's coaching staff is consistently going after receiving tight ends, and I think Oscar Depp really fits that type of mold, and he really reminds me of Jaleel Billingsley a little bit in terms of a tight end who basically can line up a wide receiver and look like a wide receiver at 6'4" and more than 200 pounds. So this was a great visit, like I said, for Alabama in terms of getting Oscar Depp on campus. More about Depp's visit will be on touchdownalabama.com, so be sure to pick up your subscription to touchdownalabama.com, so we will keep you guys updated on everything Alabama football recruiting as the recruiting summer continues to push forward and more guys get an opportunity to get on campuses all over the country. Another guy who joined Depp in Tuscaloosa on today was Kojo Antwi, a 4-star wide receiver out of Georgia, a guy who is a close friend with Oscar Depp, so he joined Depp on this particular visit. Antwi actually has Alabama in his top 5 ahead of his commitment date on July 5th. He will actually take official visits to every school in his top 5, so he will visit Alabama again before announcing a verbal commitment. When you look at his game, he's a bit of a shorter wide receiver at 6 foot, weighs approximately 180 pounds, a speedy, tough wide receiver, a guy who can get it done in space, a guy who can get it done in tight situations in terms of his toughness, in terms of him making guys miss in the open field, also getting up the field with that impressive speed. I think it was great that Alabama was able to get him on campus, and hopefully will get him on campus again before he announces a official commitment on July 5th. You have programs like Georgia, Ohio State, also looking at Texas A&M, and also taking a look at another program in the 2022 recruiting class in terms of pushing for Kojo Antwi when you look at USC. So his recruitment is pretty wide open in terms of those 5 schools. Alabama looks to be in a great position. I think this visit went a long way, and I think it's going to help Alabama in terms of fighting off those 4 schools and possibly getting a commitment from one of their top wide receiver targets in the 2022 recruiting class. Curtis Perry, a guy we talked about a couple of times on the episodes of the process, a couple of times on the last shows here. Curtis Perry was in Tuscaloosa on today. We did confirm that he planned to be on the campus of the University of Alabama a couple of weeks ago on June 1st. And when we look at Perry, he has a pretty loaded visit dates in terms of his loaded visit summer. He will visit the Auburn University on tomorrow. He also will take visits to LSU, UCF, and Ohio State, a couple of programs all across the country. As I've said multiple times about Perry, he is a national recruit. He is a elite recruit because of his aggressiveness, because of the versatility that he brings to the defensive line position. This is a guy who could be a defensive tackle at the next level, or he could be a defensive end. So he has a lot of versatility when it comes to the defensive line position. Alabama was able to get him on campus today. He will take another in-state visit on tomorrow as he will take in Auburn University. Then he will start a busy summer of visits after that, going outside of the state. And the last prospect I want to talk about today is Antonio Kite. He will join the multiple prospects who will be on the campus of the University of Alabama on tomorrow. Of course, like I said earlier, this is the first day that Alabama will host a Nick Saban football camp this summer, but Antonio Kite does not plan to camp. Alabama's coaching staff has not been able to see him in person. I have been able to see him in person in recent weeks. He was at that Under Armour camp that Kevin Collins was at in Atlanta, and he was pretty impressive there. You can tell that he's still a bit of a raw prospect because basketball is his main sport. Basically over the last couple of years, basketball has been the main focus. This last season was the first year that he actually played high school football, so he's a bit of a raw prospect, but you get a guy who can be a dual sport athlete. Alabama basketball actually offered him before Alabama football, so they may tag team his recruitment like the way we saw both programs recruited guys like Quincy McKinstry and Terrion Arnold in the 2020 recruiting class. So Kite will be on the campus of the University of Alabama just visiting. He will not camp. He will not get an opportunity to show Alabama's coaching staff what he has to offer, but he will be there taking in the campus, taking in Alabama's newest facilities. I'm pretty sure Alabama's entire recruiting department have been planning for this moment. They're excited to get guys back on campus, get things back to normal. So Alabama getting Antonio Kite on campus, I think this is going to be pretty big for them. Kite currently has no other visits set, but he will most likely visit a lot of different schools this summer as his recruitment slowly begin to take off after his junior season, after last season. So I think he will try his best to get on campuses this summer as much as possible. He did tell me previously that he wanted to take some official visits this summer, so I think he will announce some in the coming weeks. So those are the couple of updates I wanted to provide you guys with today. More will be on touchdownalabama.com. We will keep you guys updated on all of this on the process. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you're not subscribed to touchdownalabama.com, go ahead, do that really quickly. Hit that subscribe button below. Also, be sure to leave a like whether you are subscribed or not. Then head over to touchdownalabama.com. Be sure to pick up that subscription today. With that subscription, you will be able able to read all of our subscriber-only articles. A lot of subscriber-only content will be headed to touchdownalabama.com in terms of recruiting, with the dead period being lifted in the coming weeks. So be sure, no better time, be sure to pick up your subscription to touchdownalabama.com. Then head to the Google Play Store if you have an Android device, or to the Apple App Store if you have an Apple device. Download the Touchdown Alabama app so breaking news notifications can be sent to your mobile device by the staff here at touchdownalabama.com. As always, I am Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine.
Process.